Hi everybody, Stacy here. Welcome to our very first Why, What, Who Wednesday. We're doing this every Wednesday in our Radiant Sources Facebook page, where you all can come in and ask a question on Wednesday, and then the professors and I will choose a question and answer it via pre-recorded video. Like what we're doing now. Sometimes we may choose two questions. If we don't answer your particular question that week, don't worry about it. You'll have the following week and the week after that and the week after that and the week after that to ask it. We will get to them. This week, though, it was very, very easy because it was, I'm going to assume because it was our inauguration week of this new feature. And we only had one question, and it was posed by Heather Ann, and the question is it true that when someone is on your mind constantly and in your dreams regularly, that there is somehow a connection between you both? Okay, let's see what the professors have to say about that. Just give me a minute. Indeed, dear friend. Your question, if someone is on your mind or if you dream of them regularly, does it indicate that there is somehow a connection? First of all, let us say that you're all connected to each other. And that's number one. You are all connected to each other. You all know each other very well. The person who you don't like at all, oh, you're great friends. You're great friends when you're not here playing these human characters. The person who you annoy, oh, you're great friends. The stranger that you bump into on the street, you think is a stranger, but you're all very well acquainted with each other, as we are very well acquainted with you and you with us. But for the sake of this question, it is not such a black and white yes and no answer, dear friend. What happens is sometimes you can find yourself perhaps being drawn, very, very drawn to someone. Our dear Stacy is interjecting where she felt a very strong attraction to someone at one point in her life, and yet it never seemed to move beyond that. She felt the attraction from the other person as well, and she for them, but it never seemed to go anywhere. And there were many times where this person was always on her mind, and not so much dreaming about them, but in her waking hours, very much on her mind. We waited for her to ask the question about this, and eventually she did. And she found out that there was some unfinished business associated with this being in what you would call a past life, which your past lives are not past at all. They're not neatly lined up behind you. And in fact, they are all running concurrently, and all of your lives now are really coming into collision or coming into oneness now with who you are in this current. And so once she received the answer on that, she suddenly was able to let that, for lack of a better word, fixation go. For you, dear friend, some of this has to do with some unfinished business. And understand, not that you, we're not saying you haven't, but not that you haven't already been together or and then sort of drifted apart. Sometimes when we refer to unfinished business, it is quite possible that unfinished business related to that which you call past life. And the reason why sometimes these things happen is because, as we said, your past lives are not neatly lined up behind you. Your 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 lives run concurrently. They're all coming closer now to you, and they're all. You have this word bleed through. Many of these expressions will bleed through, and you will have this experience, and perhaps from that expression there was some unfinished business and things left unsaid. You can also have that in some of these relationships. In your case, dear friend, sometimes it's said that things are left unsaid, or opportunities haven't been presented to speak them. And so you work these things out, especially in your dream states. You work many things out in your dream states, dear friends. So perhaps somebody from your past or someone seemingly random shows up in a dream. You are, sometimes it is a subconscious, and sometimes it is you working something out with them in your dream time, which is really your real living time. That's when you are the most who you are, is when you are in your dream time. So as we said, dear friend, this is not a black and white answer. It is not a yes, a definitive yes, and it is not a definitive no. There are connections, there are ties there that you form, and again, it goes back to this unfinished business, more so in things left unsaid. Because that's where many of you find your unfinished businesses, where you were not able to really speak how you were feeling in any given circumstances. We're not just talking in a romantic situation, we're just talking about in situations in general. Perhaps you were not able to speak, and so you go into different scenarios here and you try to work it out for yourselves. Some of this is the subconscious. Some of this is really actually going on in your dream state. So what we're really thinking you're wanting to ask is, do you specifically have a connection to a certain individual? And for this specific case, dear friend, we would say that much of this absolutely has to do with other expressions where you have been in certain lives with this other being. But it really comes down to unfinished business. In one of what you would call your, if you want to use linear terms, one in what you would call one of your more recent expressions, one of your more recent incarnations. We prefer to use the word expression. And also seemingly in this one as well. Indeed, indeed. Thank you for asking that question, dear friend. We look forward to answering your questions. We look forward, we actually prompted our dear Stacy to start this every week. We would like to be more available. If you are noticing, our dear gracious partner Stacy has acquiesced to some of our requests in not keeping us so how can we say, not keeping us so private, more keeping it in more to a private group. We really are wanting to engage with many more of you, and so there are many offerings, and our dear gracious Stacy has acquiesced to our suggestions. She is also very gracious in offering them for free, such as this weekly. What are you calling it, dear Stacy? Why, what, who, when, where, how? Wednesday. Indeed, dear friends, indeed. So please ask your questions. Dear friend who asked the question, if you would like more clarity, or much more detailed, deeper understanding of this, you are more than welcome to reach out to our dear partner, Stacy. Yes, indeed, indeed. So with that, dear friends, we will see you next Where, What, Who, When, How Wednesday. Good day to you. I can't with them sometimes. Okay, Heather, I hope that answers your question. If you want some more, expansion on that. I kind of stopped them because they were like, if you want more expansion, they were going to say like set up an appointment, whatever. I don't want this forum to be about that, where I don't want it to appear that we're just giving like a string along answer to lead you to booking an appointment. I don't want it to be that. So if you want some more clarity, just reach out to me privately. And we'll take it from there. Okay, don't worry about having book a session. Although to be quite honest with you, I'm not seeing that they're giving me much more on that. But who knows? Maybe if you ask the question for more clarity, they'll give more, and we can work on that. Okay, so tune in, sign up for Radiant Sources on Facebook. Our Facebook page, like the page, get in on asking the questions on Wednesdays. Yeah, let's just have some fun with it, and let's see what the professors. And you know what? The professors lots of times will take one question and they'll answer it, but then they'll go on and give more information around other things. So there's a much more of an expansion. So yeah, ask your questions. Thank you, everybody. What is today? Thursday. Happy Thursday. Of course, yesterday was Wednesday. Okay, see you on the next. Now they've got me confused. See you on the next Why, What, Who Wednesday. Stacy out.